Welcome to this episode, A Minute with an Entrepreneur. And our guest today is my former boss, my mentor, and the person who made me who I am today. He's Perminus Kariuki, a director of BNI, Maseno University alumni chairman, and also the CEO of Nyota Njema Real Estate. So, to you, Mr. Perminus, thank you so much for welcoming me back to my roots. It's my pleasure to have this conversation with you. So maybe again you can just reintroduce yourself and tell us more about who Kariuki is.
Thank you very much and welcome back. It's always a pleasure to see those we have worked with and have been inspired positively coming back to check on us. Yeah, you can see we are still the same guys we were with, and we are happy to have you. Congratulations on the great initiative that you are doing and the growth you have experienced. So we are happy for you, and always feel welcome anytime you are around these areas. So straight to the point, my name is Perminus Kariuki. I am a husband to one wife who is a woman, and two daughters as my children. And I happen to be the CEO of Nyota Njema Real Estate, as you mentioned. I also work with BNI, that is Business Network International, as a director, but also working as the chairman of the Maseno University alumni. So happy to have you here, even as you said it's your first show. I would like to congratulate you, even as you go together on this journey. Yeah.
Thank you so much. From the look of things, you look like somebody who came from a very wealthy background, because I think it's impossible for a young person like you to be a successful entrepreneur and to run a big real estate industry. How did you manage to become a CEO at this young age?
I would say it's true. It's true, as has been said. I came from a very wealthy background, but wealth of ideas, wealth of discipline, and wealth of character development. So I was born and brought up in Kinangop, that is in Nyandarua County, a very small village that many people may not even identify, called Mikaro. We were just next to the Abadia. So I grew up as a young man who was quite determined and focused. And I remember when I was going to school, I would merge among the best kids in the school. And that helped me to become quite passionate to know that I can be anything I want in life. So having been brought up by a single mom, it also gave me a challenge that I can make her life better when I grow up. Obviously, as you said, we didn't come from in terms of wealth of material gains, we didn't have a lot of materials, but we were having the inspiration from my grandmom and also from my mom telling me it is possible, it is doable. Besides the humble background that we came from, I always had that passion, knowing that somebody believes in me, that I can do it, I can become who I want to become. So just to mention, when I was very young at, I think class 4, class 5, it was there was only one media house, that was KBC. Mm-hmm. And I remember Leonard Mabombotera was the broadcaster. And every news would start, Rais Mtukufu Daniel teacher Moi. And I would come and commentate the same way he is mentioning the news or he is reading the news. I'd go up the trees as I eat some wild fruits, and I will share the same news to the villagers who didn't have the privilege of having a radio. So that's how I realized. I didn't realize I was being sharpened to become a public speaker, to become an orator, to become a speaker to inspire people, a motivation speaker to many young people. I didn't know that that's what I was being trained to become. But it has I have come to realize recently. I've given an opportunity to speak. I think I graced the Maseno University graduation in 2018. I also graced this as a university alumni chairman in 2022. And that has given me opportunity to speak to thousands of people, from the tree to the crowd and to the world. I believe that is how I have become who I am today.
That's an interesting. So from what you're telling us, it's like you were born a successful person who happened to have come from a wealthy background, information-wise. Yes.
I will not say yes or no to that question. Yes. But the wealth can be very relative, because I believe wealth of good manners, good character is actually better than the wealth of material gains. Mm-hmm. I know when you look at me, as you said, you judge me by how I look, but you don't judge me by who I am. So I can say, character-wise, we are very wealthy. Monetary-wise, we are not. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Oh, that's very interesting. So many youth believe that people go to campus. For you to have a successful business, you must either work in a public sector or a private sector for so many years for you to gain the wealth of being a successful entrepreneur. How did you quit employment? And just maybe you can tell us a little bit about your employment history and how you became the day you made a decision to be an entrepreneur.
Because I'm not very old, I remember everything. I started working immediately I left Form 4. So when I finished my Form 4 studies, I went to the village and I realized I cannot stay in the village because either I become a villager or I become a village elder. So the best thing I can do was to go out and look for a job to do. And the only available job was a 3,000 job as a teacher, an untrained teacher in a primary school. So I joined the school and I taught kids. And by God's grace, these kids passed. And I was teaching Kiswahili and mathematics, which were my favorite. To date, they are still my favorite subjects. And I taught Kiswahili and mathematics. These kids passed. From there, I came to Nairobi. Then when I joined campus, I went to Maseno University. But after that, I went to look for a job in Nairobi. So when I came to Nairobi, again, the only job I found was teaching. So I taught in a friend's school in Kayole, where I grew my skills. Remember, you have come with the Kiswahili from the village, and you find kids in Nairobi, they are speaking Sheng. So I had to be able to work hard on my own integration with the same, and I was able to start speaking, teaching this Kiswahili, kids Kiswahili and maths again in class 7 and class 8. And within one term, their mean score moved from 43 to around 67. And that same year, they did more than 10 A's in Kiswahili, which had never been done in the history of the school. So it's from there that I also now started selling laboratory equipment with my a friend who gave me an opportunity to be in their company. And all this I was doing over the holidays. And I went back to school, I left the job. And when I came back, I started the job again. I started selling lab equipment. But as I was doing that and being a student leader, I realized there was a vacuum. Student accommodation was becoming a problem. So we didn't have student accommodation across the country because of the double intake that had happened previously. So that gave us a challenge. And for me, for every challenge, I look at the solution. So I tried to look for some friends, my former boss, and I tried to talk to a few guys. I told them, you guys, can you be able to do a hostel block in a university? And I went back to the university, gave the idea to the management, but unfortunately it was not adopted. But that showed me there's an opportunity in real estate development of hostels. So I don't know what miracles happened, but the moment I left campus, the same week I left, I got an interview invite by a friend through a strange number. I came to realize it's my friend later, who called me to go for an interview. And the interview I was going to was a real estate company. So I went to this real estate company, and I can tell you confidently, I went in without any experience in real estate, but I had one principle that I always have. Given a chance and shown how things are supposed to be done, I'll be the best out of the people that you are with. So I went for the interview. We were around 30 people in that room, and by God's grace, after the interview, I became number 2. And the only thing that made me number 2 is not the experience, but what they call standard proficiency test, which I was very good in finance. So it was a finance concept, and I was able to come up with it. And that gave me confidence to believe that I can do it. If I can pass the interview, I can also I can also be a good employee or a good staff to the organization. So I grew from there. I joined in as a salesperson. Remember, I had done finance, but for me, I realized I am a salesperson who has finance. So I used my finance knowledge to do my sales. That is how I grew in the ranks. By the third month, I was made a team leader because I already had started selling a lot of properties. And then from there, at the 6th month, I was made the marketing manager. I worked for that company for around 3 years, and thereafter I quit to start my own business, which is Njema Real Estate. I have always felt, I remember even when I joined my employment, I called the CEO to his office and asked him, can I work for you? Actually not asked, I actually had a conversation with him. I told him, you know what, if I work for you for more than 3 years, for more than 5 years, please send me away if I will not be the CEO of the company. Because I believed in transformation and inspiring others. So that is when when I quit now to run my business after 3.5 years. I knew it is the right time. And I thought, not because I have had a very successful career life for 3.5 years, I'm going to be very successful in my business in the first day I ran on it. I need people to trust me, people will believe in me. But that didn't happen. So when I joined Njema, which was a dream again, I dreamt of the company to become a good star in the industry. As I said, my life has always been desiring to become better in the market or in the area that I'm in. So I came up with a dream. Oh no, not I came up. I dreamt. I didn't come up with a dream. I dreamt. So I dreamt with Njema Real Estate. And the following morning, I asked the lawyer to register for me a company by the name Njema Real Estate. And that is how Njema was born. And the dream was very clear. You're going to be the right to write up people's investment. So you're going to be the right. So you're going to be a good star. And that is what we have advocated for, we have worked towards. And I believe so far, we have been able to write up several customers' investment out. Yes.
Based on what you've told us, it seems Njema has been in existence for more than 10 years.
Njema Real Estate was born in 2018, August, but registered in 2018, December, as Njema Homes. Later, we actually rebranded because we are not only dealing with homes, we're also dealing with investment. And we also changed our vision to become an excellent integrated real estate service provider in Africa and beyond. So that made us come up with a company name, Njema Real Estate, so that we can accommodate all the facets of real estate. So that's when Njema Real Estate was born, and that is 2018 December. From 2018 December, we have seen a tremendous growth, which we thank God about it, and also the kind of staff. You are one of them. You know the hard work we have gone through, the hassles we have gone through, the work we have been able to do so far of transferring more than 700 customers on title deeds in less than 4 years time span.
Oh, that's an amazing story. And there's one point I pick from Perminus' story is that everybody is capable of achieving what they want. What you need to do is to shift your mentality and think positively. Because through his positive thinking, for the past 5 years, if you walk into Njema or if you visit their website, by there I recommend their website, you just go check it out. These guys have done an amazing job. And if you want a real estate that does not have issues, visit Njema Real Estate. And that is so amazing, Perminus, for the good job and also for having that mentality.
Thank you.
But my question is, you went in campus to study finance. Yes. And then you later came out to do sales and real estate. Why real estate? Because you find that right now there's a lot of conmanship going on in the industry. And you find that the customers, or you find that the potential clients are afraid to invest, especially with the new real estate that they don't know. Why real estate? And how do you manage to beat the conmanship in the industry?
Passion drives a vision. That's what I believe in. Your passion will drive your vision. I am passionate at making people happy, and you know that so well. My desire is to see everybody happy. So when I saw people are crying about how they have been conned, how they have gone, they have lost money, I felt bad. And because I didn't have a lot of control at that point, I saw an opportunity for me to make people get happy by doing what is right. So how have we been able to manage it in the industry? By just being ourselves. We don't want to compete with anybody. Our competitors are ourselves. Are we competing with the right, with the promises we have given our customers? Are we competing with the targets we have set for ourselves? Are we delivering on what we tell our customers? So ours and what has helped us to become who we are, and even what will help us to become who we desire to become, is knowing who we are and pursuing that without looking at listening at the hearsays. We know we cannot ignore the current market has been quite an untrustworthy because of a few players. But I have also this belief that for every good market, there is always a madman. And in the same way, for every mad market, there is always a good man. Can I become the good man in that bad environment and do what is right? And you know what? They say in Kiswahili, and I paraphrase it because I don't speak it in Kiswahili. They say in Kiswahili that if one-eyed man is in the midst of blind people, he ends up becoming the leader of that tree. In the same way, I believe if with my own one eye, I can bring transformation, though slowly but steadily and consistently in the industry. And that is what we believe in. And I know I'm not alone. There are many players in the industry who are pursuing the right thing in the market, who are doing what is right. But maybe we always focus on the negatives we don't focus on the positives. Like now, we did a very big handover last year of titles. It was not in the mainstream media because it may not be the selling story. But you know what? If that became a selling story, we'll bring back the confidence to the market and tell people, you know what? There is still a remnant. In anything, there is still one person. There is still one company. There is still two companies that are doing what is right. And that is what we desire to do. So our mantra is, excellence is not an option. It is what is supposed to be done. And when you do everything excellently, from the processes of acquisition to the processes of subdivision, to the processes of delivering to customers, we are able to get a transformative perspective of Kenyans who have even lost money previously, so they can be able to trust somebody.
Yeah, thank you. Just to touch on that point, you left employment after being employed for a few years, and then you got into a real estate. I think real estate is an industry that you must have a lot of money to acquire properties and also the operation part of it. How did you make it? And is it true that for you to be successful in real estate, you must have money? How did you manage to acquire the properties and also the growth that you've mentioned in the past 5 years? Because I'm not sure you are where you are in 2018. So how have you managed?
Money is one attribute of success, but it's not the ultimate attribute of success. You could be having a lot of money, but you lack trust. So even if you have a lot of money and somebody doesn't trust you, they will not even want your money. So for me, I knew the only thing I had was being trustworthy. And that is what I used even when I was approaching the first person who sold my first land. The person I met, I talked to him. I told him I don't have the money right now, but by the end of the month, I know I have the money. I'm going to give you the cash, the deposit. So I came, mobilized the money, and I was able to pay him the deposit. When he saw that I could keep the promise of paying the deposit, even the balance, he knew that I would work so hard to make sure I give the balance. So for me, he gave me the land, he gave me access to the land even before I completed payment of my land. And that is what I believe in. It is not how much you have, it's not how much you need, it is how much you are willing to become. And when you are willing to become the right person, you attract the right people. If you are willing to become the wrong person, you don't attract the like-minded people. So because birds of a feather flocks together. For me, I believe when I started with nothing. And when I say that, people think I'm lying, or it's just the normal stories that people say. I started with 3,000 Kenya shillings in my pocket, which was enough for my fuel to Nanyuki and food. But I also had a dream which was not limited by my money. So when I met the first man who gave me his land, we agreed on how we are going to pay 90 days. I came back and told my friends, again, the secondary thing comes. One, the trustworthiness must be there. But number two, there is the power of social capital. People who believe in you even when you have nothing at all. People who can believe in your dream even when everybody else is saying it's a madness. These are guys who came and invested with me. They gave me their money. Some paid in cash even before they see the title in our name. And that helped me to pay the owner in good time. And from there, I have been able to grow, plowing back the profit slowly by slowly. I believe I have lived without. So even when I have, I can be able to live like I don't have. Because I don't have to spend everything I get. I can plow it back. And through that, we have accumulated our asset base, we have accumulated our investment base just because of plowing back profit slowly by slowly. So for me, two things. Trustworthiness must be one of the things that you need to have, even without money, because trust can attract money, but money cannot attract trust. Number two, social capital. You cannot buy social capital. Social capital are human beings. You cannot buy human beings to like you. But when they like you, they can give you money that you want. And the last thing, you must be ready to have a vision. Because without a vision, then even if you got that money, you'll waste it. That's why you see somebody gets a jackpot, and in 3 years or 2 years, they don't have anything. They don't have anything on themselves. Whereas somebody else may only have 100,000 or even 300,000 or even 1 million. But in 3 years, they have 1 billion just because of the vision they have. And remember, great visions attract great resources. If you dream big and you dream small, you are still dreaming. So for me, I believe the power of achievement is in your hands and in your dreams and in your visions. And I can quote the good Bible that says, young men shall see visions and the old shall dream dreams. So me, I'm a young man. I have to see a vision on where I want to become. I desire that in the next 5 years, I should be a billionaire. Not for my own money, but that money can be helped to support other needy people, to encourage other people, to support young entrepreneurs. I can be an investor in their businesses as well, so that I can put their dreams and they employ more people. And in return, we have a country that is growing organically through the support of like-minded people. And for anybody who supports, again, you can control how they behave. So if I give you 200 million, for instance, this year, and I tell you this money must be used A, B, C, D. If you don't, you risk me withdrawing my investment. That means you have to do the right thing, and therefore we'll be inculcating a culture of the right attitude, the right character, the right behavior, and the right business operations. Yeah.
Another point that is talked about: mind, passion, and social capital. Remember, I've been saying that somebody took a chance on me when I wasn't sure where I was headed in life. And that person is Perminus Kariuki. As you might think that Perminus is old. We're almost the same age with Perminus, and he took a chance on me, gave me a chance. But there's one thing he saw in me, that I was willing to learn and I was willing to grow. We grew together, and because of him, he told me, like, the first day I got employed, he told me to write my resignation letter because I was not going to stay there for long. What was he doing? He was preparing me for bigger things. And I can even remember when I was leaving the company, he told me, no, you go, but start your company. Don't go looking for another opportunity. Here I am because of what is just talked about. There's one good thing with you. You take in people, you mentor them, and so far, I'm sure there are people who've passed through your hands who are running successful business. Maybe you can talk a little about that.
Yeah, what I can say, I don't want to say that I have achieved much, but I desire to achieve more. So you have made me remember the first day you inboxed me on Facebook. And I should remind people, it's good to take chances with others. Because that day, I remember I saw your post, and the post was not so good. Maybe you have pulled it down, or maybe if it is not pulled down. But that this guy had reached the end of his life. And I saw, you know what, we were in the same university, though we didn't interact so much in campus. I saw somebody who is frustrated by life. But again, if given a chance, he can become who God wants him to become. So I remember inboxing you, and from there I gave you my number, and the rest is history. When you came on board, this is what I tell anybody who comes here: do not work for me for more than 5 years unless you are the CEO or the GM of the company. Because again, I need you to grow and become better. So I have been able to get a few guys who have gone through my hands, and most of them I tell them, unless they are lying to me, because even if you lie to me, you are not lying to your future. If you don't want to lie to me, then do what is supposed to be done. So my desire is to see everybody grow to become who God has purposed them to become. So I may not say much because I have just started. My desire in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, in the next 30 years, by the time I retire, I should have left a legacy that is worthwhile to more than thousands of businesses. And you know what? Some of these guys come and ask me to be a director in their businesses. I'll be gladly there because I know they are going to practice the values we have instilled in them when they are in Nyota Njema. We have been able to come up with a Nyota Njema motto, which is attributing to what we are doing for our staff and looking forward to nurturing many more. This is my desire to have at least 20 businesses under my group of companies. But besides that, I have another 1,000 businesses which are run by other people who have passed through my hands in the next few years that God will give us in life. Yeah.
Yes, just to mention again, on that point, when I left, 60% of my first clients were from Kariuki's networks. So keep your network, don't burn the bridge, and always look forward to keeping that relationship. If not for this relationship, I wouldn't have been here today. He supported me, he's advised me, and he's mentored me. So many people believe that there are no jobs, and for you to get a job, you have to either have a godfather or you have to pay somebody to get a job. Is that true? And what can you say to that person who is seated home with a degree, waiting to get a job in regards to the degree that is holding? What advice can you give these people? Yes.
One of my mentors, who happens to be a very successful businessman, allow me to reserve his name, one day told me when I was still employed, Perminus, you know what? There are jobs, but if you look for them. And if you don't have a job, then do something. It doesn't matter what you are doing, but do something. What does that mean? This man told me, Perminus, if I'm looking for you, I took your CV, and I see for the last 3 years, 1 year, you have been doing nothing. And I ask you, what have you been doing? You say you're at home. I will not give you a job even if you're overqualified. Why? Even when you don't have a job, you have an idea. Some ideas, you can become, you can actually even go and sell samosa. You can go and sell chips. You can go and sell the hawking. I was a hawker myself. Maybe something I forgot to say, when I was in Maseno University, I would come to Gikomba and buy clothes and go and hawk them in Maseno, sell them on wholesale, so that I can get time to study and become a leader, because I was a leader all the time that I was in Maseno. I used to do hawking. I would buy clothes from Nairobi and Gikomba. I take them to Maseno, sell on wholesale, because again I was a leader and I was a student. I didn't have all the time, so I would sell on wholesale. So it was not costing me a lot. I would actually use maybe 1,000 or even 2,000, and that even nowadays is something called Hustler Fund. I don't know how many people see is an opportunity. So if you tell me you are staying at home because there are no jobs, I believe you can create a job for yourself. You don't have to be a billionaire in a day, but you can start with the little that you have. So when I'm looking even at your CV, when you're looking for employment, you know what we do? We don't just look at what have you gotten in your degree. We look at what have you been doing. We also ask, what have you been doing in the last few years? What have you gotten in your degree? We look at what have you been doing. We also ask, what have you been doing in the last few years when you're not in the gap that is shown in your CV? It's good to always remember, an idle mind is devil's workshop. But whenever you're doing something, you'll always be taking a challenge and understanding things in a better way. If you sleep in your house saying there are no jobs, then who will come to your house and give you a job? If you're out there, like I saw a watchman who was guarding a bank, and actually he had a first class in actuarial science. I'm speaking about somebody that I know. This guy was actually not a bank. I have two. One was guarding a bank. Another one was in my former employer as a gate man. And then this guy told me, 5 minutes, I have my CVs. I'm just here to hold as I look for a job. So in that bank, one of the guys, they were looking for a recruitment of a certain career. And this guy had done the same course. So because he was there and he heard it is being recruited, he went and applied. And on Friday, he was interviewed. And on Monday, he reported as an employee. He left with his guard's clothes. By the time he came on Monday, he came back in a suit and a tie. That doesn't make him a lesser man. What makes us young people lose life and lose it in life is because we don't want to try odd jobs. We think they are meant for some people. Those odd jobs can give you opportunities to become. The actuarial science guy I'm telling you who was guarding my former office, I will tell you today, he is one of the biggest guys in a certain insurance firm. Why? He got an opportunity. When we got realized he has the skills, we gave him an opportunity. What am I saying? There are no jobs, but says who? The lazy ones.
Wow. Everybody you've had, as long as you have your hands and you have your mind to think, you should not blame anybody that there is no job. Thank you so much, Perminus. It's a pleasure to always have this conversation with you.
Always welcome.
As young people, I'm made to understand that Njema Real Estate offers affordable investment opportunity.
Yes.
Maybe can you talk about the investment and how a young person who is just starting or that person who is looking to invest can bring their money to Njema Real Estate?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. And what I say is, we are a team of dynamic young people who are looking forward to changing the market or having a market disruption in the real estate sector. We are the guys who came up with the affordable payment plan of up to 20,000 per month for a plot of land in Nairobi. And why we came up with 20K, we realized most guys average day in a week, for those who drink around 5,000 to 10,000 every week. So if they can save 5,000 every week, by the end of the month, they have saved around 20,000, and that is enough to pay for a plot of shamba in our investment plan. So we have made investment so affordable that with only 20K, we can give you an opportunity to invest for land. When we came into the market, the real estate was meant for a few guys who had enough money to pay 90 days or maximum of 6 months. We came and demystified that and made it 10 months, 12 months. At least I'm happy that my fellow players in the industry have also increased their repayment plans for even their customers. So we have done a market disruption. That is number one. Number two, we ensure that we take you through the journey of investment. And we are not just here to hit and run. We look at creating relationships with you. Because I have also come to learn referrals are the greatest source of business. So if we are making these young people to be investor friendly, investor excited, they're actually going to bring more people in their circles. Because again, their network will be our net worth. That is what it should be. So we have also come up with an app which we are launching on our handover. We have a handover of titles on 25th of March, that is Saturday. And that Saturday, we are going to be launching the app. In this app, even the young people can join. And if they cannot be able to buy, they can start saving in that app in what we'll have as an e-wallet. When they start saving in that app, they can save whatever amount they have with a hope that one day they'll be able to invest in the Shamba. That is what we are coming up with. And that app will also be integrated with a circle so that at least they can also become, we have a circle which is coming up. And this circle is going to help young people who may be feeling they want to invest, they want to save for a house, they want to save for a property. It's going to be property oriented, but they don't have money, the full money. They can save maybe 5,000 per month and accumulate it or scale it up as they continue earning more. And we'll also be growing the students in campuses. So they can save 1,000 for students minimum. So that at least 1,000 per month. Within a year you have 12,000. By the time you leave school, we'll force you once you get a job to pay more or to invest, to save more, so that you can grow your potential of investment. So those are some of the plans we have for young people. But the most right now we are working on. Processing Anyuki, we don't need to 99,000, you pay a deposit of 50,000. If I see somebody is young, they don't have the 50,000, they give me what they have, but a minimum of 25K, and then I tell them you can pay in 12 months or in 1 year, and you'll be able to get your title deed. We are trying to make it as easy and as flawless as possible. So we have a title deed handing over ceremony on the 25th of March. March is our handover of titles month. We started last year, we are doing it this year, we'll do it in the future, and God willing, this will become a day to bring affirmation that there are still people who deliver on their promises to the customers. Thank you.
I know. Thank you. If there's one thing I know about Perminus don't sell hot hair, especially when it comes to investment. When the titles are not ready, he'll tell you that they are not ready. Thank you so much, Perminus, for giving us the opportunity to come and have this conversation. It's always a pleasure to check you and also to catch up.
Thank you.
As I was saying, I can kindly 100% recommend you to check them out and give them a call in case you are looking for investment opportunity. Yes, you. Perminus, last words. To the viewer, yes.
I'm not dying, so I say a parting shot because I'm not dying.
Yes.
Yes, my parting shot to every young people, every person watching this thing. You can become anything you desire to become. You can become whoever you desire to become, if only you dream it. And the next thing, you can also become whoever you desire to become through the people that you associate yourself with. You're always an average of the 6 people that you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with people who are always complaining, you'll always be complaining about what the government is not doing. But if you're always with people who are positive-minded, you'll always get the desired results. Because you know what? Even a tree cannot be cut with the first axe. You must axe it the first time, second time, 5th time, and eventually you end up getting the tree down. So I believe even that biggest dream you have, it can be brought down, it can be done with consistency and surrounding yourself with the right synergy, the right people, and the right attitude, because your attitude determines your altitude. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and see you in the next episode. This was A Minute with an Entrepreneur, and we are happy to bring people who can share their knowledge, their information with young persons. Thank you so much, and see you. Cheers. Remember to subscribe, share, and comment.